Hi everyone, it's Dobby here, covered in floss. And Peppa, I'm laughing because she is on my this serving card that I have for my stitchy stuff. She just jumped on that, but it was unfortunately just behind my stand where I have my phone, so she was just like rubbing her face all over. So unfortunately I needed to move Princess here, my princess in her carriage, so I can scratch her to be able to film the video without giving you all seasickness. So yeah, unfortunately she just woke up and she needs attention. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I know that a lot of you are coming here not for me and my stitching, but for Peppa. So I hope that she's going to change her placement and just jump onto my lap. But at the moment, let me just like try to move my phone so you might be able to see what I need to go through with this cat. So yeah, as you can see, there is a cat. The cat is adorable. There is some boobage, sorry, hiding some boobage. Decent, we're being decent. And the cat is being ridiculous. So hi, hello. Today is Sunday, the 29th of March. I am hoping that we're going to get really good light, because last video that I did, it was my whip parade. The light was absolutely terrible. I had no idea. Only after posting that and so on, I realized that it wasn't like the best. So yeah, but we live and learn. So I hope that I learned to have my phone positioned this way, not any other way. Are you satisfied with your scratches? Are we okay? Your head is going to stuck there. No, it's not. Okay. So yeah, I hope that it's going to... I have you on film at the moment. She's biting my arm, so when I'm just like scratching and she just like is so into that and so on, she just bites me. And I have it on video at the moment. Sorry. So some against Dobby cat violence here. Hello. I think that this is the longest intro ever. But let me try to do that properly, maybe. My name is Dobby, covered in floss, unapologetically Dobby on Instagram. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm here to talk about my cross stitch and probably a few other things. There is also Peppa, as you can see, my absolutely biological daughter that is ridiculously adorable, but at the moment she's in a full raccoon / rascal mode. So let me just like move the camera back on myself, because this is what you want to see. She's still trying to get there. Hello. You fluffy monster, I will squish you. I'm so sorry. Okay, I am ignoring the cat at the moment. So the last video that you saw was my whip parade, and since then I was stitching a lot, but I have only 3 whips. Why? Because I also have 4 finishes. 3 of them are recent, so you saw them. No, you saw only 2 as whips, because one of them actually is start and finish. So I'm going to show you more finishes than whips, but there are also some plans for the future starts. I'm going to mention that. I'm not sure if I'm going to show you like more about it and so on. Let's see. Let me just show you how ridiculous my cat is. This is what I need to live with. She has bunny feet, she's cute, and she knows it. And she loves using that against me because she knows that I absolutely cannot resist this cute face. Even if sometimes I have the so-called cute aggression and I just want to squeeze the bejesus out of her. Okay, I think that she just wanted to say, I think that she calmed down. No, she didn't. There is still some kind of ridiculous stuff happening. Now she's biting me again because I'm just scratching her leg. See? Things are happening here. But let's go to stitching. So I was talking for 6 minutes about everything, showing you the cat and so on. No stitching yet. No stitching yet because I need to explain myself. So as you know, if you're a subscriber and you saw some of my videos before, first of all, thank you so much for coming back. So you know that if you are new, welcome. I have ADHD. And what my silly ADHD bum did, I forgot to refill my ADHD prescription last week. What a problem, you say? You can just call your doctor and ask for a new prescription. I did. Unfortunately, it turned out that my doctor is on holidays for a whole week. And since ADHD meds, and this is actually a controlled substance, no other doctor than your own psychiatrist can prescribe you that. So since Friday, I've been raw dogging life. And it's not as bad as I thought it could be, but it's also not really fun. So my brain is kind of running. There are lots of side quests. I am doing as much self-medication as possible with coffee, green tea, and energy drinks. So it kind of slows down my brain, which helps me relax in general. Plus, if you follow my Whip to Fit journey, there was lots of activity. There was also lots of physical activity that was also helping. And I have to tell you, I don't know if that's a general thing or is that me. The moment when I start on like a planned activity, apart from walking, because I hate walks, my brain gets quiet. So I was using that a lot, and especially with biking when the weather was allowing me to do that. Yeah, so she's coming onto my lap at the moment. The second I get onto my bike, it's like the first time when I took my ADHD meds. So everything in my head quiets down and I can finally follow my thoughts and so on. So this is just like something amazing. And I was using that as much as possible. And basically, since I started like with my activity goals and so on, at the moment I am proud to say that it's been 3 weeks when I have been out for a walk, to the gym, every day. So it might be like the longest time in my life where I didn't decide to just stay at home. And I am still like a bit hesitant of thinking about that as a habit, because with ADHD brain, habit forming is a completely different story. So I'm taking that as day-to-day thing, because who knows, maybe, I don't know, in 2 days my brain is just going to get completely rewired again, and it's not going to happen. But I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to think about that. I am enjoying every day. And even if that's just like, a 20-something minute walk just outside because it was raining, it was cold and so on, when I was getting back home, I felt like a person. Because ADHD, especially if you are a woman over 40 in perimenopause, this is difficult. This is really, really difficult. So finding something that helps to kind of alleviate the symptoms and be able to function and do everyday stuff is super, super important. So yeah, that's the update. But my talking and my yapping around can be worse today than normally, because of the lack of ADHD meds. I had my energy drink and then like a cafe latte. Now I have my guarana and green tea here. So I hope that I'm not going to be rambling too terribly. But if I am, it happens. I promised myself not to say sorry for anything. I am here. You are here. So I guess you chose to be here with me. I'm super grateful for that. And I am happy that I found my people where I do not need to change anything about myself. This channel was created for me to be able to find people who, to connect more with people who also enjoyed cross stitch, and it's been working perfectly for me. So even if I had like 4 subscribers, and you know who I'm talking about, that's enough. That's enough, because I'm doing that mostly for myself and to connect with you. So let's go to stitching. Peppa is coming back, maybe for longer this time. Here you go, baby. There is a blanket and you can just pop here. She's now making biscuits, so I don't know if you can hear her purring. But you cannot lay down on my arm. No, no, no. So let's start with the finishes. Stitching, finally stitching. Yay, girl, you were talking for 14 minutes and we can finally get into stitching. So first thing that I finished, and it was my January blessing sampler. It's not a sampler per se, but I wanted to stitch on something that could manifest a lot in my life, and I think that with this piece I absolutely have it. So let me show you. this is finish number 1, and this is The Florist, a pattern by amazing Gigi, the artsy housewife, and I stitched that with I don't remember, this is like one of the regular Zweigart Murano 32 count even weaves. I don't remember the name of the color or the number of the color. They use numbers for the colors, but I stitched that mostly with the cat is smushing her face onto my elbow. I stitched that mostly with floss from Tom and Lily Creations. I was in their Thread of the Month club, and at the moment I am just stitching absolutely everything with their floss. So let me just show you that a bit closer. Isn't it just like absolutely gorgeous? The moment I saw this pattern, I was just like, I need it in my life. I got it, now it's stitched, and it's about manifesting everything I want from 2026. So more cats and the growth. That's it. I don't need more in my life. This is all about the love and growth. So that was finish number 1, and I am now on the hunt for like a perfect frame for that. Then next finish was something that you witnessed, but I didn't show you this one as a full before. So we have our House of Hearts by Modern Folk Embroidery, and I stitched that on the 32 count Murano in color terracotta with some floss that I dyed myself. It's a speckled speckled floss. So this is what it looks like. And I am absolutely obsessed. I fell in love with this pattern when I saw it. I got it, and every second of stitching on that was the most pleasurable thing you can imagine. And I love this color combination. Let me show you that maybe on a house, more the speckles, if you can see that. I love it. I love it so much. And I think that this one I'm going to have professionally framed because it deserves the best. So this is my finish number 2, and I think that it will be my favorite finish in general. Oh my god, Peppa finally just like plopped, and she's just like lying here on my lap, being a super adorable fluff. I'll just try, maybe I'll just manage to, sorry for the boobies. So this is what I am working with now. Hello. Yeah, sorry, I'm back. And she just moved and she's making biscuits on my belly. Sleep, baby. So as I was so much on Jacob's kick, so Modern Folk Embroidery, I decided to continue with Jacob's patterns, and I finished Got the Morbs. So if you remember, I was stitching that on a super lovely, like peachy apricot piece of 36 count Even Weave by Megan, Coffee Crafts Fabrics, and I stitched that with Melon Patch, and Melon Patch, I think this is either Weeks or I think it's Weeks Dye Work. I think so. Don't quote me on that. I will double check. I will try to double check and just like put it here if I wasn't correct. So it's tone on tone, and we have a finish, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It just like, it worked much better than I would ever expect. And I have still just like a huge bit of this fabric left, so I already have ideas. That's the worst thing with me. I always have ideas. So yeah, this has got the morbs, and the variegation of the floss is super subtle, but it shows, and this is absolutely perfect. But anything basically that has been designed by Jacob is just like the best thing ever, so yeah. And next thing is my start and finish. So we had like a super nasty weather, and I decided that I'm going to stitch on that to try to magic spring into being. Unfortunately, today again I woke up to snow. There is just snow is gone at the moment, but yeah. So this is a seasonal Quaker. This is the original design for the Gift of Stitching magazine. The magazine, unfortunately, is no longer being published, and last year, 2 years ago, they offered like the whole online, all of the online issues for like super low money, and that was the best thing ever. So here is my spring. Here is my spring. Can you see it? Yes, you can see it. So I stitched that on 18 count, yes, 18 count Ada that I dyed myself, and I stitched that again with some floss I have from Tom at Lily Creations, and I love it, and I have an idea how to finish that. I would definitely need some tips. So if you, for example, know about somebody who had this kind of finish, or you can give me some tips, let me know, because I would like to have it on a bit of like padding, and then just like, you know, like the have it like rolled over the padding, then add some magnets behind that, and to be able to have it on a like metal board, so I could change it every season, because I have, of course, other ones as well. So I hope that I was able to kind of explain in general what I want to do with that, and you can just guide me into the right way. So I think that at the moment I am thinking about venturing a bit more into different kinds of finishing, that only just like dropping stuff into a frame or just like getting that to the frame and so on. I am actually just so close to getting myself a new sewing machine. The one that I currently have is just like, I was mentioning that this is just like a total it feels like, if you know what I'm talking about, some time ago you could have this like child sewing machine, so it was just like super small and so on, everything made of plastic. This feels exactly the same, and there is absolutely no thread tension. The thread is getting tangled, either it's completely mangled underneath, so that the bottom thread, or it, despite me just like following step by step instructions how to thread it, it manages to tangle the thread inside. So as you have like the thread going into the machine, and there is like this bit that is going up and down and just like, okay, that was very technical. So somehow it manages to catch the thread inside, and I already needed to like dismantle the side of the sewing machine, and I was basically taking out nests of thread. So I do not think that it's normal, and at the moment I have like the amazing opportunity, because on Amazon there is a sewing machine that I was eyeing for some time already, and there is some limited time like deal for that. And at work we have some Amazon vouchers for some specific tasks that we are good at and so on, and I managed to accrue enough to be able to cover the cost of the sewing machine. So I think that I'm just going to do that, and it should be here next week if I do it now. So watch this space, maybe there is just going to be more sewing in the future. So I hope that that will also help me to try some other ways of finishing, maybe to do some pillows, some hanging stuff, all the gorgeous flat folds that everyone is doing, and I am just totally in love. So yeah, we'll see. I first will need to learn how to sew a proper straight line, and then we're going to learn other things. So now let's go to our whips. There are exactly 3 of them. So 4 finishes, 3 whips, and a cat that is just smooshing her face onto my tablet now. I need it, baby, yes. I'm so sorry. I'm so very sorry. Okay, so I need to scratch the belly, yes? Okay. If I'm not allowing the face to be smooshed into my tablet, so at least I need to scratch the belly. She is a cat that loves her belly scratched, so it's not a trap. It's not a trap. She really loves it. Let me just try showing you that. Sorry for my hand, but it just like the other hand is engaged. Now you have boobage again. Just trying. So this is a floof. No, we cannot see belly yet. And here's the belly. So yeah, we have like a video proof that she loves her belly scratched, and all the purrs. Enough of cat and boobs, back to the face. We're just being like moved up and down today and so on. I'm just better. I'm more decent now. So whips. Whip number one. So this is something that I shouldn't have done. Why? Because as it happened the first time when I started that, the moment I got back to stitching that, I just cannot put it down. I cannot put it down, and basically I haven't stitched on anything else since I touched this one again. So maybe I should just leave that for the end. Nah. I'm going to show you what it is and what it is supposed to look like at the end. But I'm not going to show you the last time you saw it because you just saw it in my whip parade. But this is my Siege of Bunny Castle by Long Dog Samplers. And this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. And last time you saw it, I was just like working mostly on this part. There are just like bits and bobs. I was just going into these frames on the side. And this is what it looks like now. So I am stitching on that every day. So I am at the moment, I think, over 35,000 stitches. 35%, not 35,000 stitches. So my goal would be at the moment to finish the frames, not even necessarily like these creatures that we have in the frames, but just the frames. Because what I love about it is once you have the frames, you can just like fill it in like a coloring book. So then I can just like, I won't need so much of the pattern. I just like need to use my choose my colors and just go with that. But I love it so much because here we have the bunny's ear and eye already. So I absolutely love it. And this is another thing that I'm stitching with Tomat Lily Creations floss, with one of my favorite over-dyed grey blacks. So here you should see a bit of variegation here. I'll just even this way. It's called Onyx, and it's black and then going to greys, to not very light grey, but grey. And it's just like, oh, I love it. I love working on that, and my cat is absolutely ridiculous at the moment. I'm going to boop the nose. So I want to stitch on the frames as much as possible, and then just like go to fill it in. And I do not have like a specific plan on which one next and so on. I started that with Thread Gremlins. That was their yearly sale last year, the seasonal sale. But at the moment I'm just like jumping into that whenever I want. And the problem is that once you start stitching on that, it's so absolutely addictive that I just cannot stop. I cannot stop. I need to sit down and just like do at least one length of floss, so 6 strands, because it flows so well. It flows so well. I was just talking before about that I wasn't sure about long dogs because I couldn't find my flow in that. It turned out that I was simply using the wrong colors, because apparently for me to be able to flow with a long dog, I need to have a color that works in my brain. So not necessarily the color that is suggested, but something that works for my brain. For other patterns, this is pretty easy because these are monochromes, but of course my brain loves seeing other people that are just like choosing their own colors and mixing that, and then I'm trying to do the same and it's not working, and then I'm getting frustrated. We're not doing that. We're fine. we can do what we want to do. This is stitching. It needs to be pleasant. It needs to be enjoyable. It doesn't have to be as somebody else's. Okay, so next whip. Next whip is in this Flosstube. This is my oldest one. The Snap woke up the cat, so I need to just scratch the head at the moment, so she just start falling asleep again. So the next one that I stitched on, and I stitched only a bit on that. So this is the Prince of the Meadow by Star Parade Designs. It's super, super gorgeous. Love it. And I am stitching this one on a piece of 28 count honeycomb from the sewing shop CA, Kaylee 10 Stitch, and I'm stitching that 1/1 with custom dyed silks for you. So just like, let me try to show you like the variegation. Yeah, now you should be able to see that. So I worked here, I'm just like inside of the frame because earlier I was just working on the frame only, so there is not a lot that changed. However, it is still super, super nice to work on. It's just since I'm doing that 1/1 on 28 and with variegated thread, so I need to pay a bit more attention to the variegation and so on. So it's not very fast. It's not very fast, but I had like one session on that, and it's slowly growing. It's slowly growing. There is no hurry. There are no deadlines. So I can just like go with that at my own pace and enjoy the process. Despite me loving my finishes, I think that I love the process of stitching more. And I don't know if that happens to anyone else, but the moment when I finish something, it feels almost like a hangover. It's just like, I'm done with something. I finished that, and what now? My life lost sense and so on. So it's just like, it's a bit funny in here. Are you going back to your carriage? Okay. She's just sitting here. She's a tiny princess. And my whip number 3, so something that I am using for my whip to fit. Let me just like see if I have the pattern here. Yes. So this is my artsy housewife Glenda's Garden. So this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm obsessed. Oh my god, each time when I look at that, it's just like I fall in love even more with that. It's glorious. Yes, hello, excuse me, what's the problem? You want to get back? In a moment, I'm just going to make some space, okay? So I am using that for my whip to stitch, and I was stitching on that apart from last week. Because unfortunately, I got so much into the Siege of Bunnycastle that I didn't touch this one. I didn't touch this one at all. So if you watched my first week, and now I just posted the week 2.5, of my whip to stitch, so you could see where we are now, and this is where we are. And it's just like, I loved stitching this part of the roof. It's just like, I loved it so much. And this is a piece of 32 count. It was supposed to be even weave, but I think that this is more linenish, that I overdyed myself. And it's just, every stitch, I don't know how Gigi is doing that, but with the florist and now with Glenda, every stitch makes sense. And it's not even talking about like the flow and so on. It's kind of like meditation. And I'm stitching this one from paper, so it requires a bit more concentration, a bit more of counting and so on. So I also prefer to be just like a bit more rested when I stitch on that, and stitch on that not in the evening. But every stitch is its own joy, and it's absolutely fabulous. So I was already just saying that I think that at the moment, modern folk embroidery and the artsy housewife, these are my top two designers, and I cannot even express how obsessed I am with their patterns. So if I had unlimited money, I would buy all their patterns. I already promised myself that when I finish Glenda, I'm getting myself the new this year's Nashville release from the Artsy Housewife. So it's going to be the Hyperbole. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I am considering having one wall painted dark green, and or maybe just grey, and have all Artsy Housewife on that, because that would be just perfection. So yeah, that was my finishes and my whips, and now a bit about the plans. So there are not how to say that. So as I was mentioning before, my brain works at the moment like that, that since we're stitching from stash, we're trying to stitch from stash, we also, the royal we, I also want to not start everything at once. Even if we know that this is just like absolutely cool and we love new starts, and this is just like the brain gets tickled with all the dopamine and so on, and this is so fun, so enjoyable. I don't want to do that for myself. I don't want to do that because I don't want to get overwhelmed. I don't want to lose my stitchy bag. So at the moment, I'm just like stitching on what I want, but trying to first choose from the current whips that I have. So this way, I think I am at 20 whips. So it's 20 active whips, because we have a few sleepers there, some in the timeout. And it works so far. It works so far. However, there is one project that I love, and I finally managed to to dye some fabric for. I love the fabric. However, I am still considering my floss choice on that. I need to sleep on that. So once I know I am ready, I'm going to show you this one. And I will now try to show you what I'm even talking about. I'm so lost on my own tablet, guys. And I do hope that I have like a model on that it's not only the PDF part. So is that even the... Yes. Yeah. So this is 2025 Mystery Soul. Not mysterious anymore because of course it finished, from Fox and Rabbit. It's called the Cluster Garden, and this is what it looks like when finished. So despite that being only full crosses and some backstitch, it gives me a bit of mandala chatelaine style. So this is one thing. Plus, if you look at these flowers, bushes, trees here, it very much reminds me of Virlande by Modern Folk Embroidery, but in a less overwhelming fashion. I love this. Go to Modern Folk Embroidery, look at the Virlande pattern. It's absolutely gorgeous, but it's massive. And of course, I am the person who is just like, go big or go home. So I would only look into the full pattern, not these smaller ones that are the... So I thought that maybe I will start with that. And I am planning to stitch that on 40 count Verdal that I dyed myself, and this is like super pale, super pale yellow. We were laughing a bit with my boyfriend that it's a bit like cat pee, but this is exactly the color that I wanted. So oh well. So I do hope that until my next update video, I will finally like fully decide if I want to go with the floss that I have chosen for that before. This is a beautiful silk that I have from XG Designs. I have a half hang from her, so it's definitely going to be enough, and it's going to be a good combination of the fabric color and the silk color. However, there is another pattern that I was thinking about for this silk, so I need to reconsider and just like weigh them and see which one I want to do in this silk. Maybe I will do both, I don't know, but I need to do some thinking about that. So yeah, this is the biggest plan, but as you can see, it's not like nothing is set in stone. This is just like something under consideration. So I do hope that I'm going to make the best decision for myself, because stitching needs to be enjoyable for the stitcher. And yeah, I think that for the time being, that's it regarding my stitching and my stitching plan. So if you survived my rambling at the beginning and you enjoyed my stitching, if you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, comment, share that video. If not, that's also okay. That's also okay. You can do all the YouTube stuff if you want. If you don't want, that's also fine. And now I'm just going to go back to stitching, cuddling the cat, and enjoying the rest of my Sunday. So thank you so much. Talk to you soon, and happy stitching, everyone. Bye bye.